Please welcome two-time Oscar winner Jodie Foster and the star of Emily in Paris, it's Lily Collins.
Well, when we actors read a script, we often think about how to bring the character to life, how to add truth and depth to the person on the page. But their story and their fate are already sealed. They're already written right there in the permanent ink. And yet, isn't that partly true for all of us? Like before we're born, quite a bit about us is already written in our genes. How we look, what we like, when we'll start turning into our moms.
And all of us, too, carry typos in the letters of our DNA script. Most are harmless, but some, for people, these errors lead to crisis and sometimes tragedy, genetic diseases that constrain and curtail their lives.
But our next laureate was not prepared to accept that genes are destiny. He has developed two brilliant technologies that find and correct errors in the letters of DNA.
These tools are already proving beneficial for conditions like sickle cell disease, high cholesterol, and, as we shall see in a few moments, some forms of leukemia. And that's just the beginning of their potential.
Can a single spelling mistake harm millions of lives? It can. In the language of DNA, written deep in each of our cells, a single typo can mean the difference between life or death. Thousands of diseases are caused by these errors in the DNA code. David Liu is on a mission to change the narrative. He is designing a molecular word processor that can find and replace DNA typos.
Base editing and prime editing allow us to change DNA sequences of our choosing into sequences that will offer patients therapeutic benefit.
And give humanity the power to rewrite the story of millions of lives.
To tell us what David Liu's technology meant for her, please welcome a very special guest, Alyssa Tapley.
I was 13 when I was told that I was going to die. After I tried all the known treatments, including multiple rounds of chemotherapy and a bone marrow transplant. I remember that day like yesterday, looking into my consultant's eyes and pleading, please don't give up on me. I wasn't ready to die. I hadn't done anything yet. It felt like the whole world had given up on me. But a few weeks later, my consultant told me that there was a trial I could possibly participate in, a new gene editing treatment. By taking part, I knew that even if it didn't help me, it would help others. It was my chance to make a difference. After many tests and 4 grueling months in hospital, I was told that I was in remission, and I would go through the whole thing 100 times over to be where I am today and to provide hope for others. Now, 2.5 years later, I'm 16, preparing for my exams, spending time with my family, arguing with my brother, and doing all the things I thought that I would never be able to do. But most importantly, I have a future. And tonight, I get to join you all to celebrate the man whose work saved my life. So thank you, David, and your team, as well as all of the scientists here tonight, for always believing never giving up, and making the impossible possible.
Thank you so much, Alyssa, for developing base editing and prime editing technologies that edit the DNA of living systems and rewrite segments of genes, enabling the correction or replacement of virtually any mutation.
The Breakthrough Prize in Life Sciences goes to David Liu.
Sorry, not in rehearsal is the part where I lose it right before I give my speech. In awe of the grace, the courage, and the kindness of this young lady and patients like her. So thank you, Alyssa. If you told me when I was just a curious kid studying bugs in my backyard that our lab would develop ways to correct misspellings in our DNA to help patients with genetic diseases, I would have replied, "What's DNA?" So this moment really honors my brilliant and dedicated students and collaborators, including Alexis Comore, Nicole Godelli, and Andrew Anzalone, courageous families like the Tapleys, whose trust enabled Alyssa to become the first patient to receive a base-edited medicine, and every mentor who taught me that breakthroughs with impact begin with compassion. At a time when science faces unprecedented jeopardy in this country, I hope we all remember that science guided by empathy transforms lives. Thank you.